Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a Microsoft Flight Simulator video. We can apparently now use the sim without having major crashes. I've tested it a couple times. Things are running good, at least in this airplane and in the Kodiak, which is all that matters to me. This airplane, I'm very excited to bring to you guys today. It is the Orbx Pacific Aerospace P-750. This is the cargo variant. Correction, sorry, this is the passenger variant. It does have a cargo pod on the bottom. And I'm going to bring this to you guys as a review video and a review flight. This flight's going to be really short. As you can tell by the tail number, we're back down in New Zealand. The airport, I believe is pronounced Tekapo. It's on the South Island. We're going to be flying to Mount Cook today, but because of the mountains, we're going to fly over the Glen Tanner aerodrome. And we're going to check out some sceneries. I do have this scenery for Tekapo, came from flightsim.to. Mount Cook, I bought on Orbx with the Nelson scenery that they have for the Nelson Airport, also on the South Island, from Orbx when I bought this airplane. So, let's go ahead, jump straight into the airplane, and get this review on the road. Alright, so here we are in the passenger cabin. And we'll start this review from inside. We'll go to the outside of the airplane when we land in Mount Cook. But probably my biggest harp on this airplane, especially coming in at $25, because we have a lot of really good $25 airplanes, is right here when we close this door. I'm going to stop talking and just listen. There is zero sound. It is the same when you open the door. I like the door animations, but there's no sound to the door. That is a really big gripe that I just don't like. Outside of that, the interior cabin is modeled very well. We got a real nice cargo compartment. Words are hard today. We got really nice seats. The texturing on them is really good. Texturing in the cabin's really good as well. I haven't really found any complaints in terms of modeling. These, if it matters to you, are not like hard points. We can just zoom right through these as much as we want. The game is not going to stop us from doing that. Otherwise, everything looks really good. I fueled one of these back when in my airplane fueling days a long time ago. And I never looked inside of it, so to me, it looks really good. You can tell this is some kind of like carpet almost. I don't know what's going on there. These lights, it's not like the Kodiak, can't like turn on the lights from the inside. Cockpit looks really good. We got this nice panel here. Almost everything's clickable. We'll go ahead and hop in the pilot seat now. The doors do open, as you can see. So we got this door here, and we got our co-pilots, which if you take a listen, once again, there are no door sounds. I think at 25 bucks, I believe it was about 25 American dollars is what I paid. I think we should have door sounds. I don't think that's asking too much. That's probably my biggest gripe so far. There's some more sound related things we'll get into once we get that far into the airplane. Overall, textures look really good. I am not using DLSS. I have issues with that, and my NVIDIA graphics card doesn't like me. One thing, these textures, it's not that they're not clear. I just think they could be better. But overall, everything looks really good. The circuit breakers, at least the couple that I've tried, do work. Autopilot, when I pulled it, works. Audio panel, when I pulled it, works. Same with, I believe Avionics did. I can't remember off the top of my head. But so far, the couple circuit breakers I've tried do work. We do have a tablet. It's very basic. Gives us the Avionics, which we're running the default 430, because I don't have this one. So I can't get this one to work because I just don't have it. But we do run the 430s. It's default. I have it set to pounds because I'm from America. Like the only place, I think it's like the only place in the world that uses pounds and gallons instead of kilograms and liters. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I'm used to, so that's what I'm going to use. And we do have a ground power option, which I haven't played with. Let's pull that up. Do we actually get a ground power cart laying around here? I see us. No, no ground power cart. The other thing is I do have it loaded up with a pilot and a co-pilot, two like adult passengers in the back. I put in the weight from my dog, so in theory there's a dog, and then two children in the back plus 475 pounds of cargo in the cargo pod. But unlike the Kodiak, from the outside we can see our co-pilot, but we cannot see anyone inside the airplane, which is kind of a bummer. So let's go ahead and disconnect the ground power. It does come with a set of checklists if you want to click through them. A pretty basic airplane. I've flown 2 flights in it now. The first was kind of just goofing off in the traffic pattern around Nelson. Then I did an actual flight from Nelson to Wellington just to kind of get a feel for the airplane before I made this video. It's pretty simple to start. I don't know the real world procedures, but I went through the click through, and we're going to try and simulate it to the best of our abilities without actually looking at it. So coming in here, we got our parking brake set. Here's our fuel shut off. It is in, so we don't got to worry about it being shut off. That, believe it or not, is the idle position for the throttle. Props feathered. Fuel condition is on cutoff, and flaps are up. So we're good to go there. So we're going to come down to our panel. I like to just leave the beacon and the nav light in the on position. Then we're going to go ahead and turn our battery to on. I like to reset the generator. Then fuel will get flipped up into auto, and ignition will get flipped up into auto. Avionics are off. All of our other lights are off. Come up here, test the annunciator panel for daytime, because it is daytime. Everything lights up. Then I'm going to come over to our fuel gauge real quick and just make sure. Let's see. Let's reset that. Okay, I don't know how to reset that. Never mind. Okay. So I want to leave it on fuel per hour. That's how many gallons we have remaining. It says we've used 1 gallon. It says MPG. Oh, that's time to empty. So we're not burning anything, so 0. Then that's our fuel pressure. We got 12 volts. Not 12 volts. 12 PSI. That's good. Currently 9 degrees out. We do have real world weather on. And so let's go ahead and fire up the airplane. So for startup, my next complaint we'll talk about after we fire up the aircraft. We're just going to want to go ahead and move our starter to start, and between 14 and 17 on our NG, we're going to bring our condition up to low idle. So let's go ahead and move that to start. Our NG is right there. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We can bring that up to low idle. Maybe, there we go. So NG's coming up. Now I just want to watch the gauges. That's in the oil pressure is in the green. I can't really tell where oil temp is right now. Fuel's in the green. We're not seeing any reds and yellows, so that's good. Go ahead and bring our prop up to full. The prop's up to full. That comes up. We will now turn on our generator. Then we'll turn the starter to off. And we'll bring the avionics online. Nav's on. Leave those off. I'll go ahead and turn on the pitot static. The other thing we want to do is, if you want to use the autopilot, I didn't know this my first flight. I was just clicking buttons, not knowing what to do. You have to hit this right here. This is the autopilot master. You got to flip that on. That way you can actually use the autopilot. This is also your altitude hold. It's hiding over here in the corner. If you don't turn it on, and then you hit altitude, the plane essentially wants to fall out the sky. I learned that one the hard way. And you have to turn your transponder on as well. ADF, you can turn this to off because I'm not going to use it. And as you can see, it's in the off position, but it still displays. This is your basic Garmin 430 from the sim. Basic Garmin 430 accessory. Oh, sorry, that's a 530. Basic 530 from the sim. Basic 430 from the sim. This SN 3500, I don't really know anything about it in real life. It is very basic. It says map. I haven't yet to figure out that map actually does anything. We do have nav, we have GPS, and VOR1. Graphic, I've turned it on and off. Haven't actually found that it works. Same for weather. Same for whatever for what view is. We can click it all day long. Nothing happens. The range says it works, it changes, and if you zoom out far enough, you do eventually get some airports and stuff. So that does appear to work, but that's the best I have. So we'll go ahead and make a flight plan. Just to let you know, I'm not super familiar with the 530 in the game. So I'll probably put some things in wrong, but that's okay. Because I'm not perfect. And I can admit that. So let's see. This probably, we don't have a departure airport put in, do we? We do not. Flight plan. Okay, so we are currently at November. If I can find it. There we go. November Zulu. Sorry. I'm totally gonna mess up alphabets all the time because of my job. I do not use the NATO alphabet at my job. So there we go. We're at NZTL Tekapo. That is where we are. Then we're going to use darn it. NZ. What is it? GT, which is Glen Tanner, as just a waypoint. There it is. And then we're going to have our actual airport that we want to go to, which is Mount Cook, which is NZMC. That's where we want to go. We'll lock that in. Now it's in here. We'll zoom out to Glen Tanner. And now we can see a line on there. Not, but maybe if we zoom out. But now you can actually see our flight plan in there. We'll zoom that down into 25 miles. We'll probably end up adjusting the heading bug. Oh yeah. Now, it just hit me. But one of the things I was going to talk about was the engine sounds. You'll see from the outside clip, it starts up. It sounds like a helicopter is starting. And we've had the door wide open. It's pretty quiet in here. Watch what happens if I close it. The sound stays exactly the same. It should be like really loud, you know, jet engine noise, turboprop noise. We should hear the prop. We should hear the engine. I'm just very disappointed in the sounds in this airplane, I guess you can say. And we'll touch more on the outside later on. We're not going to focus on that right now. Here's your trims. So right now, we got our elevator in the middle. Let's kind of trim that. Like it in the middle. I'm not sure where the proper place to trim it is. I'm not sure the proper trim for the aileron or rudder is. We do want to drop flaps down to 20. And we want to go ahead and check our flight controls. Left, right. We're not going to be able to see the back, but up, down, left, and right. So everything checks out well there. I haven't been able to figure out how to turn this off. Once I turn it on, I've tried hitting like the power cord, like just unplugging it, hitting the home button a bunch of times. I don't know how to turn it off once it's on. So it is on. And now, we're good to taxi out of here. We don't have taxi lights. We'll just go ahead and pop the landing lights on. And we'll hit the parking brake. And I think we're going to have to run over our buddy here since he's in our way. We'll try not to. One thing I have noticed in this airplane, you can kind of hear the engine sounds are not the world's strongest. But the other thing I've noticed with this airplane is, unlike the Kodiak, which, unless you're pretty much at maximum gross weight, when you take the parking brakes off, even in ground idle, the Kodiak just is ready to move. We're going fast. That Kodiak just wants to get flying. This airplane, you really got to give it the beans to get it to start moving. Like, we're shoveling the coal in, pushing that throttle way up just to get the aircraft moving. And I've noticed that it's even worse off pavement. So on this nice hard pavement, it does great. But second we get into the dirt, it seems, maybe it's my mind playing tricks on me, but it seems like it needs more throttle once we take it off pavement. Just to get moving, which I've never landed off pavement in real life or flown off pavement in real life, so that's probably, I would imagine that's authentic to real world aviation. So I kind of like that they modeled that. I'm definitely not going to complain about that one. So we'll make a turn here. We'll need to give it more throttle because I'll probably end up losing all of our momentum in the turn. Based on the windsock, this should be our best runway. Well, it might have changed. It might not be. Either way, it's not terribly windy, so I'm not too concerned about a crosswind or anything. So now we'll hold the brakes in, bring the condition lever up to flight idle, flap set to 20. We'll just verify everything here. Outside air temperature is 9 degrees, so I'm not... we got pitot heat on. We'll leave the bypass where it is. Don't think we're going to need the oil cooler. We'll turn the demist on and we'll go ahead and turn cabin heat on. And that, we should be good to go now. And then we will go ahead and bring, I like to hold the brakes while I bring the throttle up. Kind of let it stabilize. And now we will take off. I'm not sure the proper takeoff settings. I like to just bring it to the green on the torque. Speeds are similar to the Kodiak. We want to rotate about 60. We want to try and climb initially at 74, maintaining a climb once we're clear of any obstacles about 90. And we'll bring the flaps up now. It's really an easy airplane to fly. We have no rudder trim in, and now that we are off the initial ground roll, I'm not even touching the rudder anymore, and we're flying pretty straight. It shows that we're coordinated, so that's nice. We'll go ahead, begin a turn over, head towards town here to get back on course. It flies really easy. I would like to think, being an XSTOL aircraft, that it would have really easy, really light handling. It's not too demanding. But also for comparing it to something like the Kodiak, because both of these have similar gross weights at about 7,000, 7,500 pounds is where they top out at. And knowing how that Kodiak takes off right about 60 knots, you're aiming to climb in about the 90 knots area. Maybe a little faster, depends how fast you want to climb. It just handles so much differently than the Kodiak. Because if you've flown the Kodiak from SWS, it's very, very, very torquey. You need a lot of rudder to stay on top of that aircraft. And what I'm going to do, so we can jump to the outside, I am going to go ahead and turn the autopilot on. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and give it to nav. It's going to trim out vertical speed. I want to do, let's do 500 and not altitude. I want altitude select. Let's do 600. We'll have to get our altitude redialed in here. we want 45,500. I don't know if it's actually gonna go up to that. I'm thinking it's not, based on how. We'll just have to see what happens. See if it levels off at 45. If not, we need to level it off at 45. But if you've flown the SWS Kodiak, you know it requires a lot of rudder until you get going up to speed. Really until you get to probably about 115 in the Kodiak indicated. Then you can really start backing off that rudder. But otherwise, especially on takeoff, on climb, you need a lot of rudder to actually maintain coordination and keeping that thing going straight. This airplane, once you actually bring the aircraft off the ground, it flies straight. So, I don't know how realistic that is to the actual aircraft. I can't say, oh yeah, this flight model is spot on. I have no clue. I've never flown one of these. I really don't know. Then we're just going to check in. We're at 44 per hour. Let's drop that down to 40. I'm not in a rush to get there. That's 42. Bring it back. There we go. There's 40. And let's see, indicated, it's putting us about 130, which 139 on the ground. So now, headphone users beware. We're going to hop outside the aircraft. I don't know how loud it's going to be, so just beware. Alright, so here we are outside the aircraft. Modeling's really good. My biggest complaint on here is the modeling of the propeller. As we can see, there's no like volumetric prop. It's just a spinning flat line. And even in the cockpit, I just don't like how it's modeled when it's in use. You know, looking at the Kodiak, I don't have the Coronado PC-12, but seeing just videos of it, it just looks so much better done in other aircraft. Otherwise, modeling on this is actually stunning. It's a beautiful airplane. They did a really good job. From the one time I've actually fueled one of these, it looks pretty similar. I mean, we got great modeling here for the emergency exit, the door handles, the signs, the rivets. We can tell there's an extra piece of metal there. You can see the ribbing right there, the ribbing, the lights, the antennas. Everything's modeled beautifully. There's really nothing to complain about in terms of the exterior model. We can get in real close here. Read that it is manufactured in New Zealand by Pacific Aerospace with the website. We've got our two default pilots. There's just some more. I think the prop is just modeled terribly in this. I would love to see improvements. Once again, this is the passenger variant. It does have a cargo variant. It has a Skydive variant. And it even has an agriculture variant. I think it's like a seeding aircraft, so it would fly over and like dump seed. I don't think it's like a crop duster. At least it doesn't look like any crop dusters here in the States. But otherwise, I mean, like if you look at that, which I'm probably going to take a screenshot of that because that's actually gorgeous. Like if you look at that, it is beautifully modeled. The exterior is flawless. It looks awesome. Like the lighting here on the empennage, the lighting, the shadows. It is a beautiful, beautiful airplane. I cannot complain about the actual exterior looks other than the propeller. I think the propeller's, honestly, it's kind of garbage. But the rest of it looks beautiful. The propeller, when it stopped, looks good. It's just in motion, not there. Doesn't have it going on. We're gonna hop back inside to hop back outside into different view mode. But otherwise, like, it's a gorgeous airplane. It really is. I really cannot complain about this. It looks really good. Even the tires look good. The rims look good. The gear, like, look at that. We can see probably like hydraulic. No, it's not. I don't think it'd be hydraulic fluid. Maybe. I don't know. We can see the fluid lines there. Once again, probably for brakes. It might be hydraulics, I'm not sure. Everything looks really good. Even this passenger step looks gorgeous. The rivet lines on the bottom of the wing. It's a really good looking airplane. It's just we dropped the ball on the propeller and the sounds. Only complaints about this airplane is the propeller and the sounds. So hopping back in the airfield, in the airport. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, we're gonna restart that. Hopping back in the aircraft. We are coming up on our first waypoint, which is the airfield of Glen Tanner, which little nav map when I updated my scenery database showed that it was an add-on. It was an add-on airport, so I wonder if it came with Mount Cook. I don't remember downloading a Glen Tanner airfield, but it looks really nice. It doesn't look bad from here. I like the snow on the runway. I like how that's modeled. Looks really good. I like the ramp. I like the little, like, I don't want to call it a town, maybe a village or something. The roadway down there with cars on it. Looks really good. Now Mount Cook's up here. Hopping back in. We're very close to Mount Cook, only 8 miles. So we will go ahead once this... Oh, you know, I never fixed our altimeter. My bad. Live weather, never set the altimeter. I'm a professional. This is why I'm not an airline pilot. Granted, there's checklists. We didn't follow the checklist. You know, we just hopped in the airplane, did our best. I talked about the checklist though. So with that, I want to go ahead and turn the autopilot off anyway. So demonstrate the circuit breakers by going autopilot. We hear the alarm. It is now gone. I want to turn the autopilot master off. Push it back in, and we can see the autopilot fire back up. So here's an example of how the circuit breakers do work. We do have manual control of the aircraft, so we're going to bring the throttle back down because we're coming up on Mount Cook. It's off in the distance somewhere. I have not flown here before, so let me push the nose down a little bit more. I'm not seeing it, but it's somewhere in front of it might be right there where where that collection of buildings is, would be my guess. Is right there. So once again, I do have the Orbx Mount Cook's. I don't know if Orbx made the Mount Cook scenery, but I got it from Orbx when I bought this airplane. And I also bought the Nelson scenery. I will say the Mount Cook one did add a bunch of like little huts and stuff up here in the mountains. I would like to take the Kodiak up there probably in a future video and go check them out, see if there's anything good up there. Now we'll kind of turn left, turn right. Oh my gosh. I am messing everything up in this one. You can tell I'm a little rusty with flight sim videos. I'm messing up a lot of things today. With that, I can't remember if I touched on it. I know I did in... You'll see a new video series here in a couple days on Manor Lords. It's a demo that came out for a game I've been waiting for probably 2 years now. I've had a lot of technical issues with flight sim since the update came out. They seem to be resolved now. But I was trying in the Kodiak. I got the... I think it was the Red Wing simulations. I can't remember their name. But I got their their Lockheed Constellation, the 1049. I was hoping to make videos on that. That would crash the game. The Kodiak would crash the game. I would just load into a new airport, crash the game. Just so many issues since the new update. I had to go on the Microsoft forums and actually see what some people suggested for a fix. And so far, I've done a couple different things. I turned off like the low power mode, some of the experimental settings, got rid of DLSS, and everything's working pretty smooth now. I'm not sure what my issues were before. So here's Mount Cook. I'm flying over, trying to find a windsock. which I'm not seeing. I would have... Oh, there it is. Looks like this is the right runway. So our current heading is the way we want to go. So we'll give it some more... we actually got lots of speed. We don't need more throttle. But we do need to start turning out to the right. I know my left and right this go around. That's good. And so our first flap speed, the maximum for 20 degrees is 130 knots, which we're just under right now. I'm actually going to deviate real quick. And I want to go check out what looks like this little... I don't want to call it a glacier, but almost this like valley out here off of our nose. It just looks kind of cool, so we're going to give it a little bit more throttle. Shovel some coal in. And go check it out real quick. But yeah, I've been having a lot of just real random technical issues with the sim. And it seems like I finally got it fixed. Once I thought I had the issues fixed, I did a flight in the Kodiak. Ran really well, as good as it always has. I really haven't noticed any super awesome performance improvements like they were promising. This is pretty. We're gonna have to check this out in another video, I think. But so I ran it in the Kodiak. Everything went smooth. Flew it out of Auckland. Ran awesome. Ran just as good as normal. Then I did a flight in this from Nelson up to words are so hard today. Up to Wellington. Oh my gosh. The struggle is real, and I don't even know why. But went up to Wellington from Nelson. Everything ran like clockwork. And here we are in this flight. Everything's going really well. I got camp out updated, which when we land in Mount Cook, I'll go ahead and pull up the setup I made for this one. I need to do an update video on the camp out mod. But anyway, I was briefly talking about this before I got distracted because I am very scatterbrained. I do have an update to... Oh my gosh. So, new series, Manor Lords. It's a game I've been looking forward to for about 2 years. And, while I was having the flight simulator issues, the demo for Manor Lords came out. And I recorded 7 or 8 videos. I think it was 8 that I'm going to be posting to the channel. I'm planning on them coming out. First one will be on Monday. Today is Saturday. By the time this uploads, it'll be Sunday. But I plan on Monday, October 10th is the first day the Manor Lords video will launch. And I'll just be posting those on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, until all the videos are out for you guys to see. I think it's a cool game. As of filming of this video, it is currently Sunday, October 9th at midnight 16 Mountain Standard Time. Manor Lords is still available. The demo is still available for free on the Steam store. I don't know how much longer that'll be on there for. But if you get the chance to check it out, it's free. I think it takes up 12 gigs, and I'd recommend it. It's free, and if you got 12 gigs to spare, I don't think you have anything to lose by just giving it a download and trying it out. So it looks like that's our runway in front of us. We know the windsock's about mid-field. We're going to overfly it, verify that our runway hasn't changed. And then we will set up to land. Where is that pesky windsock? It's somewhere about... There it is. No, that's not a windsock, Tyler. I thought it was. Okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so that runway we overflew the first time is still good to go. So we'll go ahead, turn downwind. And we're under 130, so we'll go ahead, drop flaps 20. Oh, there's a windsock right there. Didn't even... Right off our wingtip. Right there. Didn't even see that the first time. And then 120 knots indicated is our flaps 40 airspeed. So we're gonna slow it down to about 100, and we're gonna kind of come in wide just to make sure we get lined up well. But how I was saying, this is very similar to the Kodiak. Their weights are the same, and the speeds are real similar too. This says 61 knots for rotation. Climb out at 74 until you clear your obstacles. And then climb about, I want to say the little checklist in game says 94 knots. Then the approach speed, according to the game, is 74, which the Kodiak, that's in the ballpark. I think I normally come in at 85, which is a little fast. But that's how I like to fly the Kodiak. This one says 74. Both of their maximum takeoff weights are very similar. I think this one seats more people than the Kodiak, though. I think this one says it can fit up to 10 passengers. Versus the Kodiak is, I believe, 8. So now we're going to come in to Mount Cook. We're coming in at 90. We're a little fast. We'll go ahead and reduce some of our power. We're over the fence. I got throttle back to idle. Go ahead, bring the nose up. So we get main gear down first. And there's the main gear. Nose is down. I don't think we need reverse. We'll just give it some brakes. And there we are. Which in flight idle, this thing responds a lot more like the Kodiak, where it's just ready to go driving. You don't need to give it a lot of throttle. But outside of flight idle, you definitely need to be just on the throttle to get anywhere. And so, I don't know where I want to park. I've never been here to Mount Cook. If anyone's been here in real life, how does this scenery compare to real life? Is it pretty accurate? If it is, it's a real nice looking area. I like it. Oh, let's get away from that. I think that's an A-star. Let's get away from it. We don't want to hit it. Yeah, that's an A-star. There's some guy who's supposed to be marshalling us, but we're going to not listen to him. Because I want to go set up my tent somewhere. Why don't we go to the other side of this, what looks like a little fuel box. And we'll come back here and just like park in the snow so we can set up the tent and whatnot. Oh, there's a porter. Looks like another A-star. Okay, yeah, we're gonna park in here over in the grass. Or what used to be grass, I guess. And let's see. Let's try not to hit any rocks. Okay, we're clear of those. I guess we're not clear of those. Felt that. Yeah, let's pull ahead just a hair. And here's where we got to give it a lot of throttle just to keep it moving. And we will park it right there. So we get on the brakes. The manual just says to bring the propeller back down to idle. Oh my gosh. The propeller down to throttle. And then to bring our fuel lever into idle cutoff. The Kodiak, you're supposed to let it almost cool off for about a minute. And that's what I'm used to. So I'm going to let it do that. We can go ahead, turn the generator off into reset. Fuel pump can come down to off. Ignition is off. Avionics don't need anymore. Landing light can go off. Beacon and nav will stay on. Pitot static can go off. Demist is off. And we'll turn the cabin heater off. Once again, autopilot master is off. And we're looking pretty good. Just gotta let this cool down. I forgot to take note of when we started. I'm gonna guess we got about 15 seconds left before we can actually shut it off to let it cool down. Which will open the door and hear no door sounds and that the engine does not get louder. I don't know why. I really don't know why. That would be really nice if it just did that. But this is a very nice scenery. Like, look at that. There's a travel trailer back there, a bus. The terminal's awesome. The people look good. This trailer even looks awesome. I love the mountains there. Those mountains are really pretty. Let's go ahead and pop that door open too. Look at that, that's gorgeous. And now we'll bring this down to idle cutoff. And I will pop the fuel valve. And then we'll wait for the propeller to stop. Which, there it is. Turn the battery off. So with that, I'm going to go unpack our camping gear real quick, and we'll take a hop outside. Alright, so here we are outside of the P750 XSTOL, and we got our camp undone. So, if you care what I think, overall, I think this is a good airplane. I think it has some major faults, though, and those are the sound and the prop animations, and just based off how similar this is to the Kodiak by like weights, rotation speeds, size of aircraft, what they're designed to do, I really think that there is a problem with how the airplane handles, like the actual flight dynamics. It seems too much like a normal default airplane. I feel like it should handle closer to that of the Kodiak. And so those are my three real big gripes with it. Otherwise, exterior modeling is awesome. Can't complain whatsoever about the exterior modeling. Even the interior is really good. I think a couple of the gauges are a little fuzzy. I wish there was more depth to that little nav instrument there below the attitude indicator. It's just very shallow. We don't get a lot of functionality out of it. It would have been cool to see support for the free Garmin 650. What is that? The PMS. I can't remember who makes it. Would have been cool to see support for that. There's a lot of just little things. And for $25, I don't think it's a bad deal. I think you would need to really want this airplane for $25. Otherwise, if it was on sale for $15, I would say it's really good. I would recommend it. I can't say I hate it. I'm definitely going to fly it some more. I think it's a cool airplane. It's definitely kind of a little niche market. And it'll do really well. And I like the fact it's a New Zealand airplane. I've been flying a lot in New Zealand. So you're going to see this again from me. About 25 US dollars. I forget what that is in Australian dollars. But overall, if you care what I think, I'd say wait till it's on sale. That'd be my final verdict. Buy it when it's on sale. Alright, so here we are in my hangar. Once again, this is the Pacific Aerospace P-750 from Orbx. Here's what we just flew. This is the passenger variant. If we come in here to change aircraft, we have a Skydive variant. It'll take a second to load. So here's the Skydive. The Skydive comes with the most number of liveries out of any of the other versions. I really like this bright orange one, not gonna lie. I really like this one. And let's see if we go back, we can take a hop inside. As you can see, interior is pretty similar. We can come down here. We got bench seats. We got a door. We got, I think those are oxygen masks. And we even got jump lights, which, from what I've been told, the jump lights are actually usable. You can turn them on and off. Don't ask me how. I haven't played with it. But they function, from what I've been told. Yep, those are oxygen masks. So we'll hop back to the outside to kind of get a better view of it, of the exterior model. I think it's a good looking airplane. I think this is a good looking airplane just in general. I mean, it's not like that elegant, but it's a nice, like, utilitarian kind of beauty. And I don't mean that as like some weird backhanded like compliment. I do think it's a pretty airplane, especially for how it's designed. I think the Kodiak would beat it in terms of like looks though. If we line these two up in like a beauty pageant, I think the Kodiak's a lot prettier. Now that I've complimented it and gone back on it several times, we will go ahead and jump to the cargo variant. The cargo variant, here it is in plain white. We have 3 other options. First option is the Papua New Guinea Defense Force, if I remember correctly. It should pop over in a second or 2. 3. Yeah, there we go. So I thought that was kind of cool that it gave us a military paint scheme with the airplane. I thought that was cool. Jumping over next, we have this one for North Coast Aviation. I believe P2 is also Papua New Guinea. And then here is an Australian registration, which we will go ahead and jump out of the airplane for this one. And so it's for Thompson Aviation. It looks like a geological survey. Yeah, geological survey aircraft. We even see the restricted use on the side of it. Looks really good. External model. Can't complain. Beautiful airplane. Hopping inside of the cargo variant. Panel. Really hasn't changed any. And we got the bulkhead wall. Empty airplane. Not much to write home about. It's pretty much what we've already seen. And then if we go into our last one, the agriculture, which is probably my favorite reason and one of the reasons I actually got the airplane, because I thought this was super cool and I'm looking forward to using it. We have 3 liveries again. Number 1, we have Farmer's Air. Number 2, I believe it said Independent Air Seed. I can't remember. Let's see if it'll pop back over to the outside where we can read it. Yeah, Independent. Oh, Air Spread. And then my favorite is this like blue and yellow one. I really like this one. And so this is really cool, and I want to spend some time on this. So we have the applicator down here on the bottom. What's really cool, we got these little mud flaps behind the tires. I mean, mud flap's probably not the right thing to call it, but a little mud flap behind the main landing gear. We can zoom in and see maximum hopper load is 200 kilos. It says caution, check for other occupants. Once again, we got awesome detailing there in the rivets and the body lines. It looks really good. And as you can see, the scoop is not there. We got this kind of like graded thing. I assume it's probably for flying at low airspeeds. Probably the better way to get air into the airplane. I think this one looks a lot prettier without the scoop. I like the way this looks. And what's cool, look at that. There's a door, so you can actually like put things in the hopper. I don't think it works. I haven't figured out how to open it if it does. Otherwise, same interior. Nothing to write home about. Nothing's really changed. We can actually see the hopper in the aircraft. And once again, it is not a hard point. We can just scroll right through here. If I can get my stuff together. And we come in the back. I like how it says check for other occupants, but there's no seats back here. There's also no cargo compartment. So it is actually a little different. But overall, I think it's a super awesome airplane. Once again, just because of the sounds, the prop textures, and some of the other like just real nitpicky stuff, I would say wait for it to be on sale, quite frankly. I don't think anything's wrong with it, other than just some minor things we need to work on. And I think the current price point, it's just not where it needs to be yet. Which, by the way, once again, we're in the passenger variant. Look at those wheels. Very well detailed down here. We only got 2 options. I guess 3 options technically, but 2 that we haven't seen. We got the default and then ACA. Should be out of Papua New Guinea if I remember right. And then here's the one that we were flying. And so as I wrap things up, we'll just kind of look at the outside of the airplane. But I think this airplane would be worth it on sale. I think at its full price value, for me at least, I want better prop texturing. I want the volumetric propeller. I want the sounds to actually match up. I don't think it should sound like a helicopter when it starts up. I want it to be loud before I close that door, you know, just kind of get that immersion that we get from other airplanes like the Kodiak. We just get that immersion in so many other airplanes. And I know the Kodiak cost, I think, twice as much as this one does. But, I mean, look at, I don't know what the Tiger Moth cost, but look at the new Tiger Moth that came out. I just don't think we're to the $25 yet. I mean, the doors, they don't even have sounds, but yet we can have like a creaking noise in the airplane. I just think we missed out on some kind of small but important aspects of the airplane, and it's just not to the standard that we've seen here, especially recently. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know too. I appreciate all of your guys' time checking out this airplane. Check out Manor Lords when I drop the videos here the next day or two. Check that out. Let me know what you think about Manor Lords. Let me know what you think about the Orbx Pacific Aerospace P-750. Let me know what you want to see more of. Do you want to see more Kodiak? Do you want me to get that Constellation out here? I have a lot of airplanes we can choose from. I guess I say a lot. I guess it's really not that much. I'm sure some of you guys have more. I got the T6. I got the DC6. I got the beloved Kodiak. I got the 414. The 247. The L39. I've actually never flown this one. There's a lot of airplanes in here I've never flown. The 737-600. Let me know what you guys want to see, and we'll try to make it work. You have now seen the hangar. It's not much, but I like it. And so with that, thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate all of your time. Please, if you would be so kind, subscribe, like, give me a comment. Let me know what I did well. Let me know what I didn't do well. I want to improve. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here, and I really appreciate your time.